Let's go. You are officially in the Michigan Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave, your place for any and all things Michigan football. And gentlemen, we got a game under our belt officially. We see what this team looks like. Team one, what's the team number?
144.
144. We see what team 144 is looking like. The best way I could say it was semi-business-like in the way we handle business. Obviously, it could have been a little better, but all in all, I wasn't mad at what we looked like. It could have been a lot worse than what that final score indicated. But nonetheless, we handled business, got the dub. Keen, talk to me, man. Initial takeaways. What stood out to you?
Got the dub. So I would say the passing game looks more crisp. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna have to wait. You know what I'm saying? Still, we see some. ECU. Got to gauge where we're at in our schedule. You know what I mean? That's all I'm gonna say on that. But the passing game does look more crisp. I don't know if like the D line, like I said, we need to find that monster that's gonna be dominant at all times. And when we need to make a play, we need to make a play. I don't know if it was the fact that ECU was getting the ball out quick, or like what I'm saying, like we didn't get much pressure on the QB, but that'll filter itself out and somebody will emerge, I believe. But all in all, man, we look good. I'm not too worried about the run game. I think like that first initial drive for us, we were on the 1 yard line. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of hard to do anything like aggressive or be aggressive with the play calling. So we did what we were supposed to do. Handle business at the number 2 spot in the nation.
Yep.
That's all I can pretty much say about it.
Yep, I agree. I think I agree with mostly all of that. B.
Yeah, I have to say I'd agree. The only thing I was a little disappointed in from what I saw is the amount of talent we were saying we had on the offensive line. I really didn't see them moving people, I guess, the way I would want to see them. But I said it last week. These 3 games, I feel like is going to be where we fix all that. As far as like tuning up the run game, you got a tailback that's coming back off an injury, a new lineman, new transfers coming in. So it's kind of something that even though I'm disappointed, you expect it because offensive line, they got to move as a unit. That's 5 people that got to move as one. You know what I'm saying, making sure they got everything covered. So it just takes a little time to build that camaraderie. Passing game, like Keen said, was on point. We finally got to see, like, usually our quarterbacks be having 200 yards and like no touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? But his stat line, JJ's stat line was,
Oh, you mean like McNamara's stat line?
Exactly. You know where I was going.
Iowa.
But he had, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, and looked good. His ball looks good. A lot of commentators were saying he looks like midseason form. That's good, especially, knowing what we think his ceiling could be. So, overall, proud of the defense. I agree with Keen on the D-line, who's going to be that dog to step up and make the plays when we need them. Your guy trained the transfer at corner. We was looking for a number 2 corner. He made a play. Even though it wasn't an INT, it still was he made the play. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he looked good out being that second corner with his experience. So all around, just handle business. Ain't nothing big.
So before we actually jump a little further into the game, I do want to send some hate towards Peacock. Man,
you ain't the only one.
So I don't know what part of the country everybody who's listening to this is located in, but it seemed as some parts of the country were operating just fine. I know, Keen, you said Georgia was good. I talked to my brother who was in Michigan, but in Georgia, we had some real struggles. And before you blame my internet, just know we went to try other things just for a spot check. YouTube TV, no issues, banging. Even Netflix, straight through, no problems, no skipping. Everything was working
got live
good.
Sports now?
No, we were just checking the internet.
Okay.
They were different platforms.
Smoothly, 5 bars on everything, signal great.
Everything got bars except for Peacock. So me and B watched the game together, and tell him, B, it was a joke.
Oh, buffering special of the day. All it did was buffer. The announcers was gone at some points where it was like you just watching football tape in a football meeting. Like it was just a sad production. And for like Peacock is the little, you know what I'm saying, in the basement company, but NBC, y'all gotta do better, dog. That's just terrible.
That's they
And
shit. No, they can't. They don't let them off the hook. That's they Peacock. That's a symbol.
all of them,
NBC,
all of them. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Just collectively.
And then
I'm
just on the strength of I had to sign up for something just to watch the Michigan game. You know what I mean? That's what threw me off. It was like 30 minutes before the game started. And I'm like, Peacock. I went to Bleacher Report. I'm like, what channel the game on? I don't even know. I'm hyped. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, man. And then I go on there like, Peacock. I was like, I looked up, it was like streaming service. I'm like, oh, hell no. So I picked the lowest plan available. You know what I mean? Lowest plan available.
Michigan, the University of Michigan, y'all don't escape some of the blame either. This is a classic case of all money ain't good money. Go ahead and have that shit on Big Ten Network where you got the bandwidth to handle your fan base. Because that's what I feel like it was. It wasn't trained internet. It was the fact that Peacock ain't have enough servers or whatever.
All the Michigan fans in the world, man. Like,
we got people around the world. Too many fans to be testing something out.
Hey, Michigan got an NLI deal with Peacock, man. Chill out. They getting their money, man.
Twitter, you could just go on Twitter. Nobody was happy. It was Twitter was comedy.
Twitter was going crazy.
That's wild.
Straight comedy.
So, needless to say, Keen, you still got your Peacock subscription?
Yeah.
Never.
Exactly, bro. That's some that was, man, so we missed like not a lot of it, but enough of it to be trying to like actually kind of, you know, watch it as with a scouting eye. It wasn't a great production. So it did replay. I'm not sure if y'all know. I did record it. I watched a little bit of it. It did replay on Big Ten Network yesterday, though. So I recorded there, and I like the BTN in 60 because they do just the cut-ups, like the second to play. Cuts to the next play, so you don't have to like
do the commercial
and all that mess. So I did get a chance to go back and watch it. But all right, let's hop into the game. I do want to talk a little bit more about what y'all talked about as far as when it comes to the offensive line. One thing I do want to mention is, you know, prior to the game that the coaches were talking about, since it was such a tight battle, some of those key positions, I know the tackles, at least at minimum, were swapping in and out. Like, I'm not sure exactly the frequency of it, but that could be another reason why when you got two tackles in this series and then the next series, you got two more tackles. But I do think that it could be a combination of that, having two different tackles rotating in between series, as well as it was clear ECU was like, y'all not about to. They had the box. Yeah, they had the box loaded up, and we did bust a couple good runs. But at the end of the day, it did seem like it was kind of just like a stalemate at the line. There really wasn't any push. It seemed like as soon as we started like down blocking, everybody just immediately was crashing. So I'll take that with a little grain of salt. I'm not going to try to read too much into it, but I guess
add to that, Train.
Yeah,
real quick. I think that's a good game plan. I think teams going forward are going to want to see if JJ can beat them. You know what I mean? Because they already know what Edwards and Corum can do. So I feel like that's a good game plan. You're not just going to run it on us, and you're not going to use the run to set up the pass. We're going to see if JJ can straight pass y'all to a win.
Yeah. And it was like you said, yeah, I agree. It's almost like we know with 100% certainty you could bludgeon us to death at the line. Right. So let's at least see if JJ's built for this. And he showed he was. So I feel like that, moving forward will kind of caution people to say, hey, we can't just load the box and blitz him every single time, because he's showing the ability now to sit back and eat us alive.
Complimentary football.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now we playing complimentary football. That's when your offense gets real dangerous. When you hit them a couple of times over the top, then it's like, oh, we got to back off. Now we can, start mixing in that run with the pass. A nice little blend of both of them. So, but I will say this, Keenan. I don't know if you picked up on this. Is I guess you want to say average as the run game was, the pass protection. JJ,
what you think all day.
He was clean.
Yeah, he was clean. So
Did that all
I
day.
don't know if you picked up on that, King, but what was your thoughts when he was dropping back?
I mean, when you got a clean pocket like that, you can make throws. You can see people like, I mean, he was hitting everybody. I think it was like, I forgot how many people like got a reception in that game, but
8, I think it was 8 or 9.
yeah, and it was like it wasn't like, oh, somebody had 10, and it was pretty like I'm looking everywhere. I see everything. Like Wilson had 6 receptions, Johnson 5, Loveland 4, and then they kept going 4 for 3, 3. You know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah,
was getting spread around. So he's seeing the field. You know what I mean? So that you can only attribute that to having a clean pocket. You know what I'm saying? Time to throw that thing. So
yeah.
I mean, it's working great, man. Like I said, complimentary football will take you places, man. Having a strong defense to win that championship in a complimentary football with the run game and the pass game, because that was a question coming in. What's going to be our identity? You know, is it going to be running? Because we got the lightning and lightning, as they were saying on the game. The commentator, that's what Edwards and Corum want to be called, lightning and lightning. So
Yeah.
Be different.
B, let me ask you this. We talked about being a former receiver and going into this game. We talked about the wideouts, and you were very I don't want to say critical, but you were very, as a matter of factish, I should say, about wearing the number 1 at Michigan. Started out a little shaky with a drop early. I don't even want to call it a drop. Dude did make a good play. He kind of punched it out of Roman Wilson's hand. But do we officially have our number 1 receiver? No pun intended.
I am not completely sold, but I am leaning towards being sold on Roman Wilson. I mean, he got good routes. He has the speed. He has definitely all the attributes to be that number 1. I don't want to say small, but he looks light. But I guess he's a speedy receiver. But hands look great. He had the three tug game. So he, you know what I'm saying, he stepped up and shined when he needed to shine. And yeah, I think he's gonna do some numbers this season. So I'm sold on him. I'm glad that he has the number. I hope that they bring the tradition back, you know what I'm saying? We're not just handing out those numbers. But again, I understand if they don't, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to live too much in the past to where you want these players to be like players of old. You want them to be themselves, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be good to see him continue to grow. And I just wish nothing but the best for him this season. I think he's going to have a good year.
What about so you telling me you didn't think Andrew Anthony deserved that number 1 last year?
No. See, yeah, no. See, you know what I'm saying? So again, that's the thing. You just hand him that number, and then he's not even with the school anymore. You know what I mean? So it's like you just got to be sure that number 1 is that number 1. Nothing against Andrell. I was rooting for him. I mean, I don't know why he became what he became at Michigan. You know what I'm saying? It's like that state game, he balled out, and then you never seen him again, really. So I mean, wish him all the luck at Oklahoma.
He ain't working, boss. I'm just playing.
That's all I can say is that they seen something at practice that he wasn't doing or something. But yeah, man, no, he didn't deserve that number 1.
Yeah. Keen, did you want to add something?
So you think Wilson can get 1,000 yards this year? Receiving?
Oh yeah.
Easy.
Good. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, he didn't even have that many yards, actually.
Yeah, 78.
78. Yeah, so I mean, 1,000 yards at 12 games, that's under 100 yards a game. So I would assume that's probably around 80. So probably maybe right around where he's at. So yeah, I believe so. And he didn't even play
We
into
ain't had 1,000-yard receivers
forever. Yeah.
I'm interested in how many spikes he gonna score. You off to 3, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or how many JJ gonna throw. Remember we asked about that record last podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Touchdown in the season, 25.
Yeah.
Go by Henny and Gerbach.
There was a throw that he made, that third touchdown that went over the corner, over the safety.
Pumped it.
He pumped it.
Or like not even pump. He just
it was just a little
shoulders, yeah. And the cornerback sat a little bit, and then
Yeah.
It was
He
beautiful.
did
It
do
was
some
beautiful.
vintage JJ train. You remember when he tried to get that extra yard and they had to
Oh
take
yeah,
all that
popped his
time for
head.
that targeting call? Like, hey man, just go out of bounds,
His
bruh.
chin strap ended up on his lips.
Yeah.
JJ,
He
man,
was
get
like,
out of bounds, bruh. Please.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all when he was doing that mess. And that's that shit I was talking about when I was saying, hey, we're up by 23-0 versus ECU. Hey, if we don't convert this, it's okay.
Right.
What's not okay is you on the sideline because you got hit stick by some fifth-year grad guy from ECU trying to
26-year-old.
That hit for him made his whole career. He's gonna tell his grandkids, "Oh, I got that smack on JJ in that game." Like, bruh, don't take
With
that
gold
hit.
fronts.
Yeah, but I would say that throw. I mean, obviously, he had good throws last year. I remember one throw last year he made that kind of was like had me like, whoa, that's a throw. I think it was in the Big Ten championship versus Purdue. He threw like a little, it was almost like a little skinny post to Ronnie Bell at the back of the end zone, and it was like it like split between like three people right on the line, and Ronnie caught it and scored. Since that throw, this was the best throw I've seen since that pass, and I was like, if we get that consistently, that's the stuff that really, is going to take us to that next level. Passes like that, and he looks comfy, no hesitation. It was just like a quick, like King said, a quick fake to I think it was Johnson, kind of in the flat, drew that corner up and just launched it behind everybody's head. Yeah, that was beautiful. So I think he only King. What was JJ's numbers? I think he only missed 4 passes and
26 to 30,
30.
280, and 3 tugs.
And we know for sure that 2 were drops. So in all actuality, he really only missed 2 passes. That's
Handling
I don't give a fuck who
business.
you playing. That's good.
Right.
yeah, facts. So all right, so before we let's stick with the offense. This is going to be probably, and I don't know, I think I've seen a little I don't want to say a buzz because it's not probably the right word. A buzz makes it seem like it's heavily talked about, but I've seen some questions, and me and B actually said it live while we were watching, and we keep it a buck on here. Corum looks a little bit hesitant. He looks not quite as bursty. Doesn't mean didn't look good, because he still had a couple little quick jabs here and there that left a couple of people reaching for their jock straps. But all in all, I think we know what that looks like with him at 100%, just playing full out. And I don't know, something just didn't look all the way right there. And I don't know if it was maybe just his first game back, whatever it was, but it's kind of weird too, because Corum, he didn't tear his ACL or blow his whole knee out. He had an MCL, dog. It's not the worst injury in the world. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it was already kind of, I don't know. It was a little interesting to me that they were like bringing him back so slow, and it was only an MCL. I get it, everybody recovers different, but he seems like he's like a workout rehab demon, whatever. But I don't know. B, we talked about it live. So what you thinking?
And you said it like when we were talking about it, he never was a burner, you know what I'm saying? But I mean,
He's quick.
He's quick, yeah. He's got good feet. But I mean, yeah, he looked a little slow. I mean, that's just it is what it is. But again, I said it last week when we're tuning the run game. I feel like this is what it's gonna look like. You know what I'm saying? And then after the 3 games, you know what I'm saying? All right, now when coach gets back. And then the 2, I think it had a lot to do with the play calling and the line. Like you said, Train, they were switching linemen in and out. That's going to affect, you know what I'm saying, how a running back runs. So everybody getting to know each other had to play in it. Him coming back from injury, being a step slow and not being used to game speed and getting that feel back. I think there was a lot of extenuating factors, but we got a schedule to where you can work on it and get it corrected. But I mean, that's another plus of having 2 lightnings is he doesn't have to carry that load as much as, you know what I'm saying, other teams that don't have 2 backs. So Let Edwards get a feel for the game. While Corum's getting back into, game speed, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. Keen, I don't know if that stood out to you. You weren't watching the game with us, but I don't think we actually talked about it. So I don't know if you noticed that or you thought he looked okay. Where were you at with it?
I kind of questioned it on that long run he had. I thought he usually takes that to the house. What I'm saying? Because of that quick burst, what I'm saying, before everybody gets going, getting the long stride, he's already, what I'm saying, at his top speed pretty much. But he was smiling and stuff on the sideline with Mike Hart. I saw a couple exchanges with them, what I'm saying? I just think it's just working back slowly. What I'm saying? The first game I figured, but I'm not too worried about it. Like Bowie said, with two running backs that are both dynamic like that, I don't think there's a rush on him. Like, and I'm not saying he's not 100%. I don't know, but yeah, he did look a little slower to me. But I'm not worried about it. I think it'll work itself out.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with y'all. I mean,
Game
it's
ready.
just like we said, his thing was never just top end speed. He had like quick feet, and he's got burst. Like he can accelerate quick, but it's just his top speed ain't Donovan Edwards. So I don't know if it's going to maybe affect him as much as somebody who was like a top speed guy. Because he was never just. I mean, fast, but not like burner fast,
Quick,
right?
fast.
Yeah, yeah. He'll shake you in a phone booth quick. So that's his thing. So all right, well, this is something we're gonna keep an eye on.
Keep an eye on.
He's our savior to many. So the fact we calling him out just let you know that we here to call it as we see it. So
he did make some cats look silly though too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He had a couple little jugs out there that had cats, like I said, reaching for their jock strap, but just something to keep an eye on, man. We're gonna keep an eye on it. So sticking with the offense before we are gonna get to defense, believe it or not, y'all. But offense looked good. Colston Loveland, he looks really good. Hey, Bowie, I know you probably didn't go back and watch the replay as I did. But we missed about 3 great Colston Loveland plays while we were buffering. So he looked good. He had a couple nice routes through the middle. He had an out route. I mean, he just looks comfortable catching the ball. Like he looks really comfortable catching the ball, and I could tell that JJ, he's looking for him too. So he
breakout player.
Yeah, he seems to know how to get open. Some guys, man, it's not even really about like being the fastest, being the most athletic, which he is. Both of those things. But it's almost like Kelsey. You know how Travis Kelsey almost just knows, like he knows where the defense is. He knows how to find them soft spots. I'm starting to like feel like Loveland understands the defense and where they're going to be, and he knows kind of where to sit down at, where to keep running through at, all that good stuff. So, Keen, I ask you, since B was in buffer mode on our side for those plays, but what you think about Loveland, man? He looks good.
Just a coming out party. He had 4 receptions for 57 yards. A third leading receiver. Like he's gonna be that blanket, you know what I'm saying? That safety blanket. And like with the time JJ had to throw and see the field, Roman's gonna get that coverage, you know what I'm saying? He was getting off, so he might garner some more attention to him. Cornelius, he's just like 6'3", so he's always, I'm saying, maybe
Steady.
Yeah, got some coverage on him, and he had 5 receptions for 71 yards. You didn't even realize it, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, Loveland has a chance to be that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, nobody's covering him because he's a tight end, or it's a linebacker on him, and that's always a mismatch for him. So, I mean, like I said, he's my breakout player. I don't know. I mean, what can I say? What else you want me to say, dog? You know what
I mean? Khalil Mullins got in and got a carry.
Throw him back.
He came right back
on the defensive side.
He got in and got a carry. I don't know if he got one late in the game, but I saw.
Hey, we can't hate on him because he threw that pass to versus Ohio State.
And you even call that a pass? That was a
that was
jump throw.
That was a option.
That was a push. That was a shot
put.
Yep, exactly. Anyways, I really do wish one of them other guys would have been been in before him as far as the third back. He was the first one in after Edwards and Corum. So just something to think about. If one of them happened to get, nicked up, I don't want to see him. I'm saying it now before it happens. So we'll see where that goes. All right, so let's move it over to the defensive side of the ball. Definitely the defense looked stout. It's hard to really see one who's balling, especially on the run plays, just because it was like they had absolutely no space. It was just like they ran into the line every time.
Yeah.
And pretty much had nowhere to go. But obviously the interior looked stout as we expected. It seemed like it was everybody rotating in. Like I saw obviously Graham and Mason Graham and Jenkins out there. I even saw Cam Good was in there.
He looked big as hell.
Yeah, Kenneth Grant was in there. I mean, everybody was like rotating in. So I think now during these games, it's like get everybody to run, see if somebody can stand out. But as far as the D line and the run game goes, that was A1, like 100% great. As far as the pass rush, again, we had no sacks. Did seem like they were getting it out pretty quick, but I guess we won't know until we get a little more data. We did get close a few times. I saw a couple times Moore got back there once, and the quarterback kind of stepped up last minute. He kind of grasped at him and missed, but he was back there. But
and also trained Garcia. He's a running quarterback too, so that might have played a part in it. You know what I'm saying? Like as opposed to sacking the quarterback, you want to contain them. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to rushing back there right away. I'm just spitballing here. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. I mean,
I didn't think about that until you know what I'm saying because he took off a couple of times and got a couple first downs.
Yeah, he
that
did.
Might have played a part in it too.
Yeah, he did. So, Bowie, I mean, to me, it's I don't want to call it concerning yet, but I have my radar up as far as pass rush goes. So, what is this going to be something that's could be our Achilles heel potentially, or you're not going that far? Where's your level of concern with this?
I'll say about a 5. I'll give it 50%. A lot to do with what you're saying. We don't. I mean, who's going to be our proven pass rusher? Who's going to be able to get home? But 50% goes to what Keen is saying about him being a running quarterback and us kind of trying to contain him rather than get to him because his antennas is always like, oh, I'm just gonna dip. You know what I'm saying? Like as a running quarterback, he ain't trying to sit back there and throw the football. So that 1, 2, 3 for him is even faster because he's trying to get up out of there. So I I would say I would still like to see a one sack at least. You know what I'm saying? So that's very concerning. Not to be able to get home once with the talent that we are saying or expected to have. But right now, only one game in. I'll give it a 5.
Yeah. And I'm only asking because obviously, the last 2 years have been Harbaugh's best seasons, and we've always had pass rush, right? So that's never been something to concern ourselves with. Even last year, I think people thought since Ojabo and Hutch left, last year was our first year without them, that people, assumed we were going to fall off. And we actually had more sacks last year than we did the year previously. So, it was a little bit more by committee, but who cares who gets it? You know what I'm saying? As long as we get home. So that's got me, like I said, a little concerned, a tad, but need more data still at this point to really start overreacting to some things like that. So we'll see where it goes. I do want to talk about the secondary. We had some injuries, so Will Johnson didn't play, Rob Moore didn't play, but I thought Saab looked good. Number 3, he looked pretty good, and they said he's been around for a while. So I was excited to see him out there. And then, King, talk to me about this transfer, Wallace. I know you mentioned him earlier briefly, but I really liked what I saw out of him.
Yeah, he was everywhere. Number 12, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You saw his number everywhere, man. And then he made that play on that on the sideline on interception. If boy wasn't out of bounds and touched it, it would have been an interception. So, I mean, I think I'll put that in my notes that we upgraded at DB. Even I didn't even realize Will Johnson didn't even start. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how good we kind of played. And that gave a chance to make a definite either number 2 or nickelback. But my standout player, what I'm saying, my breakout player, what I'm saying, went on ahead and proved me correct. Start the season off again, offense and defense. But no, they look the defensive backs, they look good, even with with the injuries and those starters not playing, because Will Johnson's number 1 cornerback, and then Rob Moore is our safety. So
Yeah.
those are key parts to us, and it didn't look like there was any fall off or any taper off, really. So
Yeah. And Samer still got a pick. Definitely Johnny on the spot.
he was everywhere too. He got he got a offensive flag or pass interference call because he was locking up and they pushed off. You know what I'm saying? So if you pushing off as offensive player, you're getting locked up. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. And also, I know they said Makari Page, number 7, the other safety, was questionable. He might not play.
Yeah.
But early in the game, some dude came out and tried to block him.
Oh,
ran through the man's spirit. Hey, B, what happened to that? What happened to that boy?
Oh, that boy locked up. He went to the upper room. That boy was out of there, dog. Like, I mean, and it was shoulder. It was shoulder. Like, he bowed. And that boy was on the ground. And I mean, no disrespect. Hope he all right. But hey, man, I'd have stepped out of the way. I'm a receiver. I'm avoiding stuff like that. But hey, I like a DB or a safety that like contact. That's good for us. You know what I'm saying? That means he ain't gonna be afraid to come downhill, or he shouldn't be. Just make sure you keep that energy. But I like it. I like the aggressiveness. Set that tone.
That boy's arm was immediately pointing to the sky, like
he was locked up.
that boy.
Hey, who did it? You went that way.
That boy hit the ground and threw up the Black Power fist.
Oh man.
Like a boxer. It was like a boxer when they get caught nasty and their body locks up.
They just freeze.
Hey, much respect, Paige. Hey, we don't take no prisoners, man.
No, sir. Wrap his socks around your helmet. We did that. You shouldn't have let him out here with the killers.
Come on. Last one I want to talk about on defense is we can talk about a few of them actually, but Junior Colston looked really good. He was everywhere. He's the guy we talked about as being our dog in the middle. I don't want to call him the leader of the defense because I believe that mic could go to Samer still, but he's up there. He's definitely sideline to sideline. He was all over the place. Y'all know when I watch football, I constantly watch the linebackers on defense, and I was calling for him to be starting 2 years ago when they still had Nakai Hill-Green in there getting shit shook out of him. So he's transferred out for good reason. He wasn't going to play over him. But Hausman, we watched Hausman make a few good plays too.
Hey, man, I was wondering when you was going to bring him up. I'm excited to see what he's going to turn into because just like you said, him playing opposite of your boy, I think they'd be able to lock up the middle of the field pretty tight.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what else he could do. I know we were rotating a lot of people, like you said, Train. So
yeah,
you didn't get a big sample size, but I hope next game, you know what I'm saying, we get the opportunity to see him more. That's what I'll say.
You got something, King?
Our whole linebacker core was all over the place. It was our
Agreed.
3 leading tacklers. So it was
Colston, Barrett, and Hausman. Yep.
That's gonna be something to reckon with when we get into our Big Ten schedule too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. They were all over, man. Like Colston, even when he didn't make the play, like he was not far away from where the action was happening at all times. So I think he's primed for a huge season. Like he's got the ability to work himself into a top round draft pick at this rate, the way he's playing, his size, the way he can run. And we're going to be, probably there at the end. We should be at least. So he's going to be on the radar. So he's got a big opportunity this year. But moving forward, anything else y'all want to touch on the defense that I'm missing, or else I'm gonna keep it moving here. Am I missing anything that I should be bringing up?
Got it.
All right. So I guess there's one game going on. I think this evening, Duke and Clemson. We're recording on Monday, but other than that, week 1 is in the books of college football. So, obviously we keep our ear to the streets, our eyes to the streets to, see what things are shaping up. Obviously, it's week 1, so we're not going to overreact to anything.
Right.
But, we're looking to see who potential suitors could be. I told y'all personally, I thought that Ohio State was going to take a step back. I didn't really like what I saw from them at all. Their quarterback, he doesn't, as of right now, he's not putting a fear in me as a Stroud or a Justin Fields per se, or even a JT Barrett, or keep it going back in time. So that's the number one team we always got to keep our eye on. But they didn't really look like world beaters. I would say Penn State, to me, looked more impressive. Their quarterback Aller is looking like he might be a stud. They didn't play anybody too hot. I think it was it West Virginia. I think they played
West Virginia.
They're not expected to be much this year, but it's a Power 5 school, and they took care of business. It was, I think, into the third quarter. It still was a game though, so that final score wasn't like how dominant they were the whole game. But I liked Aller. Florida State yesterday, they look pretty good. Obviously you always got to keep an eye on USC with Caleb Williams. He's looking like he's different. He's just different, man.
He's looking like Mahomes Jr. out there where he's throwing it.
He was slanging.
And he's fast. He's fast. When he takes off, he's like damn near fastest on the field. So just taking a look around the entire landscape of college football this weekend. B, I don't know if anybody's got you on high alert, or what you thinking as far as the rest of the field goes.
I mean, the rest of the field probably was, I'd say, on par for what you expected. I don't want to say they got me on high alert, but that Tennessee game was interesting.
If Joe Milton takes us out in the playoffs, I'm gonna be sick.
Sick, but I mean, hey, he still isn't the most accurate. I mean, he was 21 to 30, but I mean, he got the job done, and their team looks good. Georgia. I mean, I was looking at Tennessee just because it was like one of the big games. And I mean, looking at Wisconsin, they do what they do. The Ohio State game, just to touch on, just like you said, the quarterback, I mean, he slanged the ball. He was 20 or 33. He slanged the ball, but it was really their run game that scored the points. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like he got a couple splash plays is where he got accumulated most of his yards. But like you said, he ain't on the level of these previous quarterbacks. So I think they're going to take a step back as far as their offense. And another thing about that game, Indiana's defense, they were making some plays, bro. If they offense was worth a nickel, you know what I'm saying, that could have been an even closer game than what it was.
Yeah, they had that nice pick.
Yep, because their defense was making that fumble. They got to the quarterback. Hey, bro, but Wisconsin, I mean, they won their game against Buffalo. The big one, I mean, everybody's talk about it was the Colorado game. They defense ain't much to speak for, but hey, if you can put up 45 a night, you have a chance to win any ball game.
Yeah.
So, just I'm saying, shout out, I'm rooting for Deion. I'm saying, that was one of my favorite athletes growing up. Yeah, but other than that, I'm saying, I think everybody was par for the course. I'm saying, playing the teams that they played.
Keen, what you thought, man? I don't know. I know you're down in Miami. I don't know if your alma mater, the U, has got you feeling like they got some chances, or who's standing out to you.
What Gaddis do, King?
No, he fired. I don't know where he at. Fuck him.
What you think he doing now?
Probably at home, barbecuing on everybody else on Labor Day.
In the words of my dog, Subway is always hiring.
Kate Samuels, rest in peace.
No, like y'all said, man. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, won. Pretty much. Like you said, the Ohio State game. I was watching that game. I was in tune to that. And they don't look as dominating as normal. You know what I'm saying? You usually see them week 1, and I'm like, damn, they won 2 by a lot. Damn. But I didn't see that in the IU game. Nebraska lost to Minnesota, but it was a close game. But I was kind of watching.
Teams look sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say I was trying to pay some attention to it because I brought him up. I tagged him, you know what I'm saying? I brought him up last podcast, and then they go do this to me. But fuck them,
The
they ain't
Boo Boo
Michigan,
Bowl.
so I ain't tripping. Yeah, everybody looks on point, man. I just want to see like when we get into the depth of the schedule, like where everybody, you know what I'm saying, filters out. But all the blue bloods, all the ones that make it to the playoffs look like they're gonna make it there.
Yeah, yeah. Before we end here, let's get into these predictions. I believe I was the closest to the final of how much.
Man, can I speak on that real quick? Can I speak on that real quick?
Train's 1-0. Okay.
Hey,
Can
man,
I speak
go
on
for it.
that real quick, man? I was like, it's 30-0. I'm like, okay, we about to do our thing. We end up I think we missed a field goal or something, man. I was just like,
Yep.
like, man, like, what? Did
You
y'all know? Did y'all
You
listen to the
emphasized
podcast?
kicking last week, King. You emphasized
Yeah,
the
he
importance
missed an
of
extra
kicking.
point. He missed an extra point too, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And he hit a long one too, but I was just like, man, did they listen to the cast and hear me say 42-0?
And then the
I was
starters,
just like,
and then the starters came out the whole force. So
and then they put dude in, and once JJ came out, I was like, oh man. I was like, at least give me 9 field goals. Or like 3 field goals, 9 points. I was like, give me 3. And they just kept stalling out. I'm like, man, damn, man. And then they kicked that field goal at the end. I would at least make my point like, hey, I predicted the donut. You know what I'm saying? I predicted the shutout. And these bum ass motherfuckers gonna kick the field goal at the end on the last play. I'm like, y'all whack as hell, dog.
Can't leave
Listening,
the field with a 0. You got to get something.
I'm turning off all devices next time we do podcasts because they listening to me, bro. They listening to me.
Got to get something.
Yeah,
And
so
have a donut.
it's a new year, but more of the same as far as these predictions go.
Dang.
So I'll take that one. Great start to the season for your boy. Let's get into predictions for this week. We got UNLV on the schedule.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna be honest. We're not breaking down these other teams for y'all just because these are 35, 40-point spreads. And
currently at 38.5.
Yeah, if you want to go look into UNLV, feel free by all means.
I ain't got
be
time.
my guest. Yeah. So I saw that they won their week 1 game. I think they played Bryant.
Kobe got a college?
Chill.
Chill,
Don't pay the bills.
Let me see. Who would they play?
Ryan Bears, I think there are too.
Yeah, Bryant. Exactly. So they won what was the score here? 44-14 to Bryant, who I think I've heard of Bryant, maybe a hair and a NCAA Cinderella type.
That might be a HBCU. I ain't never heard of them.
They paid him to come on out. Come on out, man.
So they beat them 44-14. And UNLV, even though they won 44-18, their quarterback was 11 of 18 for 86 yards in that victory. So
they're a run team.
Yeah, they had
an option team, probably, for all we know.
Yeah, I don't even know, bro. They could be an option team with those little.
They got like 8 different players that ran the ball.
Yeah, so they just pounded them, which obviously that's not going to work versus us. So I'm not at all worried about UNLV. I probably was, even if anything, maybe a little more worried about ECU, which was low too. But at least I've heard of them. They've had a couple good teams in the past. You know, they've been decent at times. So I've never heard of UNLV football making any time. So
heard of the Running Rebels, and that was all basketball, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Grandmama.
Real quick, Train, before we sign off, can I talk about the punt return game?
Oh,
man!
I was about to forget, but I forgot.
I was thinking about it earlier, but
look, okay. So what's this kid's name? I can't. It's Thaw. His last name is Thaw. They need to sit his ass on the bench, let him thaw out some more. Because the first one, that's why we ended up on the first 1 yard line. We couldn't do nothing with the first drive because he let it fall, let it bounce, it rolled all the way to the 1-2 yard line. You know what I'm saying? I seen him get skippy on
the ball.
Yeah, I was thinking of Bowie when he didn't field. I'm like, man, Bowie said, "Oh, field the ball, man."
That's why they implemented fair catching, is so that wouldn't happen to you, or you could prevent it from happening to you.
And then so on another one, I forgot what happened. He messed
His
up.
helmet was on the field.
Yeah. See, so y'all see what I'm saying, right? Y'all see what I'm saying? Like we got athletes. I think we should put the best athletes at those positions so we got the best opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, score a touchdown. So Jim Harbaugh's on record saying Orgy, our quarterback, has a chance to be a GOAT at kick return. One of the greatest of all times at kick returning. Jim Harbaugh said that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm just saying, if he said that and that's what was put on the field, I'm like, who's in charge of the kick return and special teams and all that?
There was a different head coach this game, though, Key. So that might be his head coach is kind of his guy.
And that was punt return too, at least. So maybe
right.
I don't know.
He wanted to get his guy an opportunity, and
maybe Mullins might be his guy too.
Let's give Thaw did have one. I'll say this: he had one little return where he
was looking
showed
shifty.
A couple little that at least had me like.
All right, I see why they put him back there, but
maybe
it was first game jitters in the big house. I'm gonna chalk it up to that. But if I see some more fugazery, I'm gonna have to call it out.
And you got to change that number, dog. You can't. I don't have confidence in you when you're number 26 back there.
Only 26 I've seen get off was Saquon.
Taylor. Oh shit!
But that's that tailback. It ain't that.
John Taylor, and he played defense, and he was a dog.
Exactly.
I'm gonna need you to change that to like 80, 84, something like that. More receiver.
It's like a team number. You can even get 14 20, or something.
Yeah, 14, something other than 26. That's a practice guy number for me. That's a number that nobody really wants.
Yep.
My bad. I just had to get that off my chest.
No, yeah, I'm happy you brought that up.
Right. I was thinking it.
That's something we were talking about during the game. Like, who is this guy? AJ Henning's gone. He went to the best to the worst, the best to the worst team in the Big Ten, which I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but
he was thinking my minutes are about to decrease.
Yeah.
Let me get on up out of here.
I'm gonna be a straight return man forever.
Throw Zero back there. I'd like to see him get his hands on the ball more.
Yeah, that's why whoever. I just know we gotta have somebody that's
whoever.
Yes, somebody who's quicker than him. I don't know. Maybe we'll give Thaw another game. Maybe he'll surprise us. I'm hoping.
Right.
Also, even from watching the game last night with LSU and Florida State, last year they dropped 2 punt returns in that game, which kind of caused LSU to lose. And then last night, LSU dropped another punt, fielding it, and so. Being able to, even though he let it bounce, I'm just saying, even when it comes to him, I'm guessing he's probably sure-handed too. So, if he drops a punt, then you really are giving us nothing at this point. So, just
it all goes into ball security.
Yeah, just something to consider. Maybe he's the most sure-handed guy back there fielding punts. So we'll see.
I look at it from the positive and not just the negative. I feel you.
Yeah. So it's an overlooked. That's an overlooked thing, man. Catching punts ain't the easiest thing in the world to do, man.
I agree.
Those things are going high, winds blowing. You got to judge it. It's turning over. Might be moving side to side.
You got to look to see where the tacklers are coming, how far away, as in keeping your eye on the ball.
Yeah,
it's a lot to it.
Yep. So, all right, let's get to these predictions though. Who came in second between y'all?
King. He was closer. I overshot my load. I expected
B, it's on you then, man.
All right. So I was on a real high horse, and judging those stats you gave me from UNLV, the 8 ball carriers, I'm expecting this game to be short because the clock's gonna be running. So I'm gonna go.
Thanks for that insight. I didn't factor that.
I'm going to go 42. I'll go 42-3.
42-3. All right. Yep.
All right.
I'm going to go. Shot again. Oh,
I'm going to go.
You're not taking it back.
I'm going to go. 42-7.
He playing Wheel of Fortune and he gonna bid $1 over me.
All right, I'm gonna let's see. I'll go 38-3.
Dang, Train. That I was thinking it's gonna be a shorter game. Bring them points down. I was thinking like
Well, actually, no, you know
32.
what, King? Because you have 42-7.
35.
That means we both landed on 35, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, man, nobody can win. All right, so I'll change mine. I'll go.
Go up.
Oh, I will. I'm gonna go.
39.
I'm gonna go. I'll go 42-3. I'll go 42-3.
That's big.
That's me.
Damn.
Yes, sir.
We locked in. We locked in.
You have 42-3, B?
Yep.
All right, I'll go 45-3.
Okay.
So
we all right in the same ballpark.
Yeah, y'all trying to get near to my predictions and shit.
I gotta play. I gotta play that spread, man.
All right, well that's it then. B, talk to us about you call it the X now, the old Twitter, what's formerly known as Twitter.
I seen on your phone though, you still got Twitter. It's crazy, but I on my phone it's X. But it's popping. Still posting up the latest news. You know what I'm saying? Go follow us, the Michigan Man Cave Podcast. I've been posting a lot about the Peacock situation because that's been the most comedy I've seen in a long time. People just going in on Peacock. But yeah, follow up the Michigan Man Cave Podcast on Twitter, or now you call it the X.
Yes, sir. Keen, IG, how can they find us?
At the Michigan Man Cave Podcast on iGizzle. Yeah, just posting, keeping content fresh, you know what I'm saying? Posting Michigan worthy, Michigan related, Michigan football, you know, everything. So holla at us, come check us out, message us, like us, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And on YouTube, that's where you watch the podcast. Come check us out.
Yep. Right. Like, share, subscribe. If you like what you're hearing, like what you're seeing, definitely appreciate all the love and support. If there's nothing else, we'll see y'all next week after we 2-0, after we whoop these clowns of UNLV running Rebels. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. That's it. See y'all in a week.
Go Blue.
Peace.
JJ for Heisman.
Yeah.
Ooh, already.
I like that.